I was like, oh no, I'm disappeared. All right, let's watch some trailers here. There's two that I want to see. I was checking IGN, just kind of browsing through. There are a lot of videos that popped up after Summer Game Fest that weren't really shown. Obviously, developer interviews and stuff, but there are a few games that slipped through that I am curious about. One, I just never really got because I think it was on one of the like PC gaming shows or something. But this is System Shock, the new System Shock. Definitely interested in this. Never played System Shock, and I don't know if this is the version of the game that I should play, or if I should go back for the OG, but, you know, this is the immersive sim, like, precursor. This is the thing that kind of set everything off. So, either, I think this is a remake of the first one. I don't think it's a new game, per se, right? I think this is the Final Fantasy VII remake of System Shock, if you will. So, I kind of want to watch this. Let me turn off the music, though. Yeah. Alright. Hopefully everything sounds good.
18.
Humans interfacing with computers
for their own entertainment.
The very
I could see that being a beginning of an EDM beat, actually.
Upon my works, foul creatures, and weep at its magnificence. It is a beautiful day.
Whoa.
Citadel Station.
Bro, that was a good shot.
humanity is
On the verge of
Damn.
a new era.
This game looks pretty, though. The lighting is, I think, carrying it, but I'm here for it.
You hacker, a pathetic creature of meat and bone. How can you challenge a perfect, immortal machine?
Gunplay's looking nice. It's lightsaber-esque.
You are nothing. I create. I iterate. I fuse flesh and steel into perfection.
I mean, the game looks good, man. I don't know how big the team or anything about the team who's making this. But if this is, I would say this is, I said Final Fantasy VII Remake. I would think this is more like Black Mesa, if anything.
Transgressions. These are my avenging angels, and they will have retribution.
I mean, that doesn't look bad, right? The one thing that I think I know about System Shock, right, is that it's an immersive sim. So, like, if you've played Prey before, you might understand something like this. I don't. Dishonored is possibly an immersive sim light or something of that nature. But if I've got the genre correct, you can do a lot of different things. Spec into hacking skills, spec into melee, spec into gunplay. So it does have RPG elements and stuff like that. So you're not always usually the jack of all trades, right? You can hack into certain things and change dialogue options and gameplay events, ideally, based off of some of the things that you do. If I know or understand what the genre is correctly, I could be wrong on that. And I think System Shock was one of like the first games to really like do that, but it is a bit older. Graphics are a bit better nowadays. So whatever company is making this, I don't know if they technically have like the blessing of the original creators of System Shock, or if this is like, again, how I said, Black Mesa. It's kind of like a fan project. The game's open source. You don't really need licenses anymore, and they just kind of took it upon themselves to make this sort of things because no one else really was. But yeah, I really don't know, but like this is really good. Though one other thing that I would have to see is this the best way to play System Shock, or should we go back to, you know, the original, which I've never played, and experience it through that way. So yeah, so overall, I would say this looked pretty good. The models aren't the most high res, textures aren't the most high res, but I think a lot of the lighting and obviously art direction here is carrying it, right? Like where things are laid out, how the levels kind of environments, I should say, tell a story, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool indeed. I'll definitely continue keeping my eye out on this System Shock.